Well, welcome back to Po Boy's Little Homestead. Today is March the 4th. We're continuing on our part 2 of the multi-series of the 2021 garden planting videos. So I hope you watched the first part. If you didn't, I'll attach it right up here. But up next, we're going to continue where we left off yesterday. And we're going to be planting in this raised bed, which is just like the one we left off on yesterday. It's 5 foot round, 2 foot tall, and it's just simply made out of 3 foot wide metal sheeting. You lay it down flat on the ground in your line and you screw it together. At each joint, you stand it up, make you a circle and screw it together, and as you filling up with dirt, you keep it in a circle shape as you coming up with your soil. Also, like I've said before, all of my raised beds, these tall raised beds in the bottom, I take a tiller and till around, break it up the soil in the bottom of the ground. I put some stumps, rotting limbs. It ain't got to be rotting, just cut up small logs. That way when you fill it up, as time goes by, they'll start rotting down. That holds your moisture for your plants to live on. It attracts worms and other good grubs and stuff that's good for your soil. Some of these raised beds is where I cut trees down out here, and I actually put them around the stump. And as that stump starts to rot down and decay, it'll hold your moisture in and attract worms and other good grubs and stuff for your soil. But anyway, we're going to continue on this bed right here, and I got some prism kale and some red Russian kale that I started indoors on January the 17th of 2021. And I know they done got root bound in these little cups, so they need to be planted. Should have done been planted and would have done been planted, but the ice storm in February, and then we ain't been doing nothing but get rain afterwards, so I'm just now getting able to plant. So let me get to planting this kale. Well, I really like my gardening. Put my hands in that fresh soil, starting to plant from that little seed. Sit back and watch them grow, and then you harvest it. You can preserve it, or you can eat it. Well, I never grew tomatoes, but I kinda like their flavor. They say the red ones taste much better, and I know that I can grow. Alright guys, that there is our red Russian kale and our prism kale planted. You can see I kind of overplant, but I always rather overplant. And if some don't make it, or if they all make it and it starts getting too thick, I can easily snip and get some out of the way. My thought is, if you don't plant just what you really need spaced out, then something happens. Then there you are, you too late and ain't got your bed full of what you need. Because you just don't start these plants and they jump up overnight. So I'd rather overplant and then do my thinning later. We finna mosey on over and plant something else again. Well, here we are. About 75 feet from where I left y'all from. This here's a 2 foot bed, 5 foot round. This is one of them where I took a cow panel and split it right down the middle. And when you make a circle out of it, you got a 5 foot to 5 foot 2 inch bed there. And then I just took some old rusty tin I had and cut 2-foot lengths. Well, this here ain't quite 2 foot, it's about 18 inches. Stand them up around there and fill it up with soil. You do beds this way. If you got the scrap tin, you can buy a cow panel $22 to $25. So you basically getting you a bed for $12 if you got the scrap tin. Even if you bought the tin, you got about $16 in a good 5 foot, 2 foot tall bed. That's not counting your soil. If you gotta buy your soil. But anyway, guys, right now we finna plant us some Brussels sprouts and some cauliflower. And cauliflower is called Amazing Cauliflower. The Brussels sprouts, I can't remember what the name of it is. I keep up all this on a spreadsheet on my computer, but I can't remember which ones I actually sprouted here. But it's Brussels sprouts. But we finna plant 6 Brussels sprouts and 6 cauliflower. Guys, there's our Brussels sprouts and our cauliflower. And all my life I was raised, my mom and grandpa and dad, and they all gardening and truck patched and stuff, but they always raised the necessities of what we needed to live on. Or they done tomatoes to sell, corn to sell, peas to sell, but mostly just what we needed to eat and what we eat. Myself personally, I've never raised Brussels sprouts. I got some cauliflower last year since I started doing the raised bed gardening stuff. I enjoy this and I like trying different things. You'll see when it comes to my tomato planting time, some of the different tomatoes I got I ain't never seen or heard of. Just because I like doing it. But I'm gonna try these Brussels sprouts again. Cauliflower I've done before, actually in the fall, but then the frost starts coming in. I had to harvest them, but the little heads they had was good eating though. So we're gonna try it, see what happens. I said a little gardening prayer over them while I'm planting them, so maybe it'll make me Brussels sprouts like I ain't never seen before. Now we're gonna tiptoe over to the next bed. Okay, the next bed here, it ain't but about 13 inches tall. And I ain't exactly know what this wire cage is off of, but it's a rectangle, about 3.5 foot by 4.5 foot long. I was on one of my HIOYCH shopping sprees one day. If you ain't previously seen that, that's Haul It Off and You Can Have It places. My favorite places to shop. And this little cage was sitting there. He said, take that with you too if you want it. Well, I knew right away what that is. Cut some little pieces of tin, put it around it, and you got another garden bed. I think it's off of one of them plastic chemical containers where they had the wire cage around the outside of them, but I ain't 100% sure. But anyway, in this bed here, I'm finna plant some Bright Lights Swiss Chard. What we finna plant right here. Now it says on this to plant this every 6 inches apart, which is normally what I do, and 1/2 inches deep. plant it every 6 inches apart, and then you thin them to every 1 foot apart once they get up. But I really like my green beans. I would tell you they are sweeter, but I really can't remember. But buying your seeds, if you got a good feed and seed store nearby, try to buy all the seeds you can get there. Cause when you buy, I know my local place, you can go in there for, they got a scoop. I don't know what it is, but it's about that big around, about that deep. Close to 1/8 of a cup scoop. And they'll give you a scoop of, say, turnip seeds for 50 cents. You order you some turnip seeds from one of these places online and see what you get. You're gonna pay $2.50 to $4 for a little pack, and it ain't even gonna have 1/8 of a teaspoon, if that, of seeds in it. But like I said, some things you from your local places you can't get different varieties when you want to do different things. So I buy what I get at my local, and then I buy this other stuff just because I want to try different varieties. But we're gonna see. Well, since I got some straw left from doing my tower, potato tower, I don't know if y'all seen that video. If you didn't, I'll attach it right up here. I'm gonna put a little straw over some of these beds that I plant. Remember, if it's greener or if it's sweeter, I can't remember. What does it matter? Well, I never planted cabbage, but I grew up. And what I try to do is pull it back where it ain't very thick. Right on top of where I planted the seed. Then as it grows up, the straw's there, and I can just pull it back around the plants. A lot of kale. Well, I think it's over brassica, but I really don't remember. This here's the potato bed I planted yesterday in the potato planting video. You didn't see it, I'll try to attach it above. But I put a little bit on them because it'll grow right through. Wet it in a little bit. Is it brassica or not for brassicas? What does it matter? What? Now guys, I don't know if y'all seen or if y'all watching all the videos or y'all just come across this one. But back in the middle of February when everybody had the ice storm and the snow, I made a little video and I'll try to attach it up here. I planted these wildflower seeds on top of the snow. And it was sleeting at the time I did it, and then we got some more snow and covered the seeds up. And I got this bed and another bed I'm finna show y'all. And these wildflowers is already done coming up, germinated and coming up. But I'd read that online somewhere that you could throw wildflower seeds out. It didn't matter if it was snowing or what. And they would come up when it got time for them to come up. Well, by golly, you did it. You see them coming up yourself. Let's look at this other bed. How good they coming up. This is hummingbird mix I plant for the hummingbirds and the bees and stuff. But I really didn't expect them to come up, especially this soon. But you see they coming up. So that's why I like experimenting and doing different things. You watched the potato planting video. Them seed potatoes I had left over, I planted in a pile of leaves that's just composted, just because I had extra taters left. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I'm gonna see what they're gonna do and show y'all if they do anything. And that's on the potato planting video. So I just like experimenting and trying different things, because you see my saying on my opening titles on a lot of my videos: if you always do what you always done, you always get what you always got. Well, I'm all about not being a follower. I don't like following what everybody, the most popular people, do. I ain't never been popular in my life, and I dang sure ain't never been a follower to do what everybody else does. I like being my own person, so I like trying different things. Alright guys, so now I'm completing my irrigation on the raised beds that I just got planted. I don't know if you've seen my irrigation installation video, but if you didn't, I'd run all my header pipe, which is 1/2 inch pipe, and I run my 1/4 inch header lines up to each raised bed. At this point, now that I'm planted, I come back and I take these emitter hose, which is a 1/4 inch, and you stick on that little valve that I'd had there. I'm gonna stretch this emitter hose around this bed, and at the end of it, you plug it off with one of these little plastic plugs. And them are called goof plugs. And I got to thinking, why, that fella that named that goof plug, he's my kind of man. Because these plugs is used, you plug off the end of this 1/4 inch line, or if you go back on my video, you'll see when you run in 1/2 inch header pipe, you got a little toe, you just punch a hole. Then you can stick your fitting, a T-fitting, or a nipple fitting, bar fitting, in that hole, and you connect this 1/4 inch line straight to this 1/2 inch header. But if you messed up and poked this hole in the wrong place, that's why that's a goof plug, because you just goofed up. So now you got a goof plug that you can plug that hole by just sticking that in there. You stick it in till you hear it snap. There it goes. And you just plugged up your goof up. So he's my kind of man. But anyway, I'm gonna run my headers line, like I said, around this bed. Every bed that I got planted, I can go ahead now before it starts growing, and you got these little plastic stakes that clips right on these lines to hold them in place. And I kind of go on to get my length here. I got a pair of these little cutters. Cut your line. Plug the end of it with a goof plug. That way all your water will come out your emitter hose. Then all you do is you just, this bed's long and narrow, so I'm gonna just run it down toward one end. Circle it around. Come back toward the other end. Now when I get ready to water this bed, after I get the water on, all I gotta do is come open that little valve right there, and I can water this bed. Like I said, if you didn't see my irrigation installation, you need to go back and watch that video, and that'll bring you up to this point right here. And then that'll be the completed irrigation. So you can see how I done that round bed. I just started in the center and kind of made it around and come back. Hooked it into my little header line where my vial's at. Done all of them I planted. I just want to give y'all an update on how you complete that. Like I said, you can go back and watch a video on how I run the header lines underground and across. 1/2-inch header line underground with the valves cut off, and where it attaches, how it attaches to your water spigot. Alright guys, I done got my straw around everything. Now I'm just gonna give y'all just a little overview of the garden area. Let you see what all I got planted and what all's coming up to be planted. So I'm kind of standing in the middle, right down there on the end. This Primark blackberry bush is trimmed back for the fall. Lemon balm. I got strawberries growing in there that I've had planted in October. Strawberries in the double stack tires. That's the potato tower. Planted yesterday. You can see that in the potato planting video. Then we got beets and radishes. We got mixed lettuce. We got turnip greens. And then down there today we planted cauliflower and Brussel sprouts. These in-ground beds, some of them gonna have a couple of tomatoes. And then there'll be either cucumbers, squash, green egg squash. And in ground's gonna be several tomato plants with some pepper plants, 2 or 3 different varieties. Some pole beans. And down all them pots on the sides is different herbs. That middle pot right there I planted yesterday with peas and carrots. I ain't sure what's gonna go in that one, but the green over there, you see the onions growing, and then I planted bunching onions. That water trough right there has got carrots. This water trough is left open for something later. And I'm gonna spin around. Over in them blue containers, the ones on the bottom, the 3 on the bottom got spinach. I'm probably gonna put lavender in them 2 little ones and leave my top ones open. Maybe before my radishes get ready, or carrots, I may plant a second round. Then I got muscadine vines, 4 different types. That barrel down there, that's a wildflower barrel. And then these pots down the center, them are wick pots. It's gonna be 4 tomato plants that I'm gonna experiment with. Plant as a little later than I plant the rest of mine. And then what we planted today here are Swiss Chard, or Kale. And then the tire in the middle has got potatoes. In was the cabbage. And some of them wick pots over there is gonna be different kind of squash and zucchini squash. That one tub is the container with potatoes. Them tires stacked in the back, one's peppermint, one's spearmint. Then we had a wildflowers. Planted carrots there yesterday. Strawberries growing in that tub on that barrel. These tubs here on the barrel is gonna be, if you look on Leon's gardening, I'm gonna do something like he done. I'm gonna plant 2 tomato plants in one of them, and as they grow, they'll hang over and you ain't gotta stake them. And the other one, I'm gonna do cucumbers the same way. But thanks for watching, guys. Hit that subscribe button and you'll have a part 3 series coming up. It might be several days. I got my bell peppers and tomatoes. I planted them way too early. They got so big, I done potted them all the way up to half-gallon containers and got them in me a little makeshift greenhouse. But it's gonna be April before I get them planted. But I gotta get my gardening. I got some ground cover I'm gonna spread out over my ground, and some other things I gotta do for tomato and pepper planting time. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you subscribe and follow along. God bless. Have a great day. Does it matter? Well, I really like my gardening.